Our next speaker, his name is Ben Ringwald, and he is creative director of concept at Syzygy, and they are doing funny stuff like this. So this is actually an app called Conte Rio Kick, which is off already because it was just for the World Cup 2014. And what was that? Yeah, that's right. You can come up already. Hi, Ben. Moin. Just come up. So, and you're going to talk about games for brands, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will not talk about this app and about this game, but about games and brands in general.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. So, as you already mentioned, I'm working as a creative director concept for Syzygy, which is a creative agency based in Frankfurt. And I'm a university lecturer at Hochschule Darmstadt as well for creative strategies. And as we see in marketing, oftentimes marketeers and advertisers are always looking for new buzzwords. And of course, when we see the rise of games, I mean, Peter showed his beautiful numbers on wonderful charts with butterflies. We see that games are becoming more and more relevant. And I like to draw or to take another view at games and games for brands. And what I like to do first is to have a short review if games and advertising is a new thing, and no, of course not, it's nothing new at all. So games, for example, this one on breakfast cereals have been around for years. Maybe breakfast cereals on the backside just to be part of the life of the consumer, to be there in their life when they're having breakfast, for example. Thank you to let me do the boy group dance with my microphone. Good work. Okay, coming back to games and advertising. Of course, we all know these, let's say, boring sweepstakes. But again, going back to game mechanics to answer questions, or collecting things like collecting badges, having collector's editions, doing video games just for brands like Pepsi did for, I think it was Nintendo, I'm not sure. Or even in-game advertising, which also always works great, as we can see. Still, the question is, does it work? And what does games and advertising mean nowadays? So, again, some numbers. Peter, where are you? This guy. Okay, so in Germany, these are German numbers, 44% of games are played on smartphones. That means 11 million people play games on smartphones and 25 million people play games in Germany. This is a wet dream for marketers, of course. And what they do is, yeah, let's make a game with our brand. But that doesn't mean anything. Because just you can play a game doesn't mean, just because you can build a game doesn't mean that you reach your target group by building a game that screams your brand. Playing around with the logo doesn't have any sense because it doesn't tell a story, doesn't tell anything about your brand or your product. What we need to do from an advertising point of view is we need to create engagement through story, transmedia storytelling, and referring to the presentation we just saw, yes, the story is very important, especially if you want to do a game for a brand. You can offer the possibility to discover or learn something new. Learning by gaming, we had this in the beginning of the day, is very important. And it's a great chance to offer information or to help people. Of course, we need interaction, that's fun, and we must not forget the brand values. So the brand values mean really the core of the brand and the heart of the brand and the story of the brand narrative is very important to be on the basis of the game. When I talk about engagement, I mean, as just mentioned, it's not just playing around with the logo, but be emotionally touched by the brand. So become part of the daily life by either helping or entertaining people. We call this help me or entertain me oftentimes in advertising. This is important. Or inspire and encourage the user to discover new things, to discover new perspectives. Be really inspiring, and that is not be making another memory with your brand icons. That's boring, that's stealing time. We need to offer a positive emotional brand experience so we can really start a relationship with possible consumers. And I have some examples that are not from the company I work for, but from other companies that are not games at first place. Okay, Nike Fuel Band, classical gamification case, but also what they did around the thing with Nike City Runs is where you build everything upon game mechanics, but you don't build a game itself. So the player is the human itself. I have a short story.
The entire insight behind the Nike Plus Fuel Band is motivation. People want to be motivated. We want to make it really easy to stay motivated and stay more active. The premise itself is very simple. You wear the band on your wrist, you set yourself a daily goal, and the band helps you keep it. It's really easy to use the band. There's only one button. You see your Nike Fuel, and the color display moves from red through yellow, and when you hit your goal, you hit green. It also displays your calorie burn, how many steps you've taken throughout the day, and of course, it shows what time it is. When we developed Nike Fuel, we were looking for a common metric that made it easier for anyone who's active to compare themselves with someone else who's active. The motion sensor in the band is able to track your everyday movement, so it's much easier for you to know when you're most active and what it will take for you to do more. You can't improve what you can't measure. You see per day, per week, per month, or per year how active you've been, where you've been active, and where you have not, so you can use that as a way to keep staying motivated. On the website, we take advantage of the bigger screen, so we can get you deeper into your experience and make it even more interesting and fun. And as we evolve the experience, you'll be able to see much more of what your friends are doing, you can compare with them, and you'll be able to share your progress with them.
So what we can see here is it's a clear use of all the mechanics of game. High score, challenges, collect badges. But what's even more important is that the story expands the product. So the story of the Fuel Band brings you to use Nike products. And that's what's really interesting. And it supports really the brand story. It supports the claim, just do it. And it's part of a whole transmedia experience. You have the band, you have the website, you have the app, and you have events where you can challenge yourself with other people, or as a group you can challenge other cities. So here really you be part of a game. It's classical gamification, and it's also helped me. It's all about motivation, as the guy in the video said. We support the customer to work out, or Nike supports the customer to work out with the Fuel Band. Another example from DDB Sweden, the fun theory for Volkswagen is far away from being a game, but it works with the idea of being playful, and that's why it's very interesting.
The theory that the easiest way to change human behavior for the better is by making it fun to do. We then put the theory to the test in 3 behavioral experiments.
So Volkswagen not only made these videos to prove their theory that fun can change behavior, but also made a challenge where people can offer proper. I'm missing some words. Can make suggestions what else can change behavior in a fun way. And I think it's pretty clear that this is a way more funny touch point with a brand, or way more engaging touch point with a brand than just a TV commercial or a game, memory game with the logo. So again, we use the mechanics of games, challenge and discovery. We have a transmedia story that supports the campaign by adding a new perspective. The whole campaign is about changing behavior towards the environment. And it's, of course, entertain me and inspire me because it makes me think about new things while I'm having fun. And this is very important, to have fun. Another example that I brought is Dumb Ways to Die. You probably know that I wanted to also have a classical game with me. And this is just a classic mobile game that's accompanying a whole campaign. And this is just the gameplay. So it was for the Australian or the Sydney Metro, and they wanted to be for young people to know the security announcements, and they found out they will not be listening and they will not be reading, and so they did a music video and they did a mobile game where you just play your the safety rules. So in the beginning you have all kinds of what is dangerous, and the faster the deeper you get into the game, you come to the things that are important for behavior while riding the metro. And it's really nice done. So that's why I like this game, and it plays around with the different mechanics you have on your mobile. So this is a typical game with high score. You can collect badges, you have different levels, but you have the positive experience with the brand that stays in the back in this case, because it's more about the security and the security announcements. And it's really fun to play, so if any of you haven't played it, so it's really a nice game. So what I like to say is we have different types of games, from gamification to a campaign to mobile. Yes, these are not typical games, and this is why I was wondering if you would like this kind of presentation, because it goes away from game, but it bases on everything that's good in games and that can really bring engagement between people or consumers and brands. And they are based on the typical psychological game mechanics, like high score, the challenge, to become better in every level, collect badges, team up. Anything you can imagine doesn't have to be necessarily in a game. And to sum it up, before you talk about gameplay and platform, talk about the story and the idea. Because as an agency, often our customers come and say, hey, we need to make a game. Have you seen these numbers? We need to make a game. And it's very hard to tell them that just making a game, like the next memory, doesn't have any sense. Then we need to tell a story that fits the brand value and supports the transmedia thought. It should be an experience overall, and not just a game, but also a campaign that's accompanying, or the whole brand experience. And as the Volkswagen case really nice played out, awake the play instinct. Because everybody loves to play. Even old people have really fun if they can play around just with the stairs when they make sound. And this all let people engage with the brand. And this was pretty fast because we're running out of time. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Thanks.